Well, happy Wednesday. We have made it to the start of October, and I have to say that the start of the new month will be feeling more like fall versus September, where it was just extremely uncomfortable due to warm temperatures and really high humidity levels. As we kick off the first days of October, we are looking at fall-like conditions to last all the way through early next week. We have a little bit of warming for the next couple of days, but it's subtle warming that we're experiencing, and it's all due to a ridge of high pressure, mainly impacting the south, and I'll showcase that in just a moment. I do want to take a look at your weather headlines to get your Wednesday going. We will continue to have subtle warming all the way through Thursday. Notice how the high surf and strong rip currents continue to linger despite the beach hazard statement coming to an end last night. So we'll still have some unusual high surf depending on which beaches you are, especially for those areas that face the south and southwest. As we take a look at the first weekend of October, we are looking towards fall-like conditions, which is good news. Very appropriate, especially if you haven't put out any of that fall decor this weekend, will be a perfect time to do so. All right, well, we have officially wrapped up our water year. It ends September 30th. A new one kicks off October 1st. And it looks like we did fairly bad when it comes to our report card. Again, that's kind of what the water year is, a report card for all of the moisture that we accrue. And we were in a major deficit, especially in comparison to the year prior. So hopefully this next year brings a lot more rainfall. Here's a quick look at today's highs. I have the coastal areas producing mid 70s. We'll top out in the mid to low 80s with plenty of sunshine to go around for the inland communities. Mid 70s for the mountain areas, and we'll be in the mid to low 90s for our deserts. All of these numbers are cooler than where we should be for this time of year. So despite being a little warmer than yesterday, we're still running below seasonal. All right, taking a look at our forecast radar, fast forwarding this to later on this afternoon, we'll have some of those clouds stubborn to clear along the coastal communities, but we'll have much better clearing when it comes to those areas away from the coast, especially those neighborhoods that hug the 15. We'll have some clouds roll back in overnight, lingering into early tomorrow, but they should clear a lot quicker than they do today because of that offshore flow. Most of that easterly flow, those winds blowing from the east to the west direction, are going to help clear things out, especially for the inland valleys as the sun rises and starts to warm up the atmosphere. So here's that ridge of high pressure, also known as a dome of really warm air. It is bringing heat to the south, to the states just to our east, not really doing much for us though in Southern California. We're seeing warm up, but it's not extreme by any means. All right, that's eventually going to move out of the way, allowing for a cutoff low to dive south. This is going to be centered over Central California and parts of the Four Corners, and that will allow for cooling to resume into the weekend. The inland areas will continue to trend anywhere between 5 to 10 degrees below normal. All right, here's a quick look at your highs for Thursday. We're looking at mostly mid to low 70s. What we're expecting tomorrow, pretty comparable to what we're going to see today. We'll be closer to that 80-degree mark for areas like Fallbrook and Vista, but tomorrow's highs will likely top out in the low 80s for plenty of neighborhoods from Valley Center all the way towards El Cajon, right along the 8 near Alpine. Mid to high 70s meanwhile for Julian, and I'm forecasting high close to 100 degrees for Borrego Springs. The coast and inland areas will top out in the 70s all the way through the middle of next week. Subtle daily changes. Tomorrow will be one of the warmest days of the next 7, and then temperatures will slowly start to drop. Low 80s for the inland valleys, and then we'll shoot down about 5 degrees or so. Overall, it's going to be a stunning weekend ahead, especially when it comes to those evening and morning hours. It's going to feel very cool and crisp. We're looking at really cool temperatures, and then once we get towards the noon hours, things warm up. The mountain areas will be in the mid 70s. The overnight lows for the mountains, so when it comes to the nights and mornings, are going to be cool into the 40s and 50s, and then we'll eventually climb into the 70s. So layers is going to be key if you plan to head towards our mountains. Desert highs close to 100 degrees for the next couple of days, and then we're back in the 80s by the time we get to the weekend.